Happy Tuesday, everybody, and happy summer. You know what? I haven't been on YouTube in a little while. This feels weird. Do people still make Shaggy memes? I don't know. So today is May 21st, 2019, and a little movie is coming out on Blu-ray today called How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop in a little time machine and we're gonna put on our little quantum realm bracelets. We're gonna travel all the way back to a time I like to call February. Reason being, I shot a review for How to Train Your Dragon 3, never got a chance to edit it. I'm not gonna lie, part of it is just I was lazy and didn't do it. But now the review is edited, just in time for the movie's Blu-ray release. So travel back with me to February as we review How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World. So How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is the newest chapter in the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. It's the last chapter of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. And in this movie, Hiccup is still the chief of the tribe. He's grown up a little bit, but there's this new dragon trapper who's coming for all the dragons. So the people of Berk try to relocate and find a hidden world so they can have a new peaceful life for them and their dragons. I love the first How to Train Your Dragon movie. It's one of my favorite DreamWorks movies. Probably my favorite one outside of the first two Shrek movies because Shrek is just golden. The second movie was also great. To be fair though, I haven't seen the second movie probably since it came out. So I'm due for a rewatch on that one. But coming off of two really solid movies, how does How to Train Your Dragon 3 fare? This movie was still awesome. Maybe just a hair lower than the first two movies, but I thought that this was an incredible, riveting, and heartfelt conclusion to this trilogy. It's hard to believe, but it has been 9 years since the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, so we've had almost a whole decade with Hiccup and Toothless, and it's been great seeing that relationship mature and grow for the last 9 years. In the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, Toothless, who started out with a clipped wing, he was pretty much completely dependent on Hiccup. Throughout that movie, they get to know each other, they learn to work together to overcome Toothless's disability, which leads to what's still my favorite moment of the series, and probably one of my favorite moments in cinematic history is that whole test drive sequence from the first movie. Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. But Hiccup and Toothless have grown 9 years since then, and there's a new love interest in this movie for Toothless that you've probably seen in the trailers. They do a lot of fun stuff with that, with Toothless trying to impress this new Light Fury, but Hiccup at the same time has to accept maybe his friend now has a new focus in his life. That's what happens to friendships in the real world. That whole relationship in this movie just felt very mature. In fact, this entire movie I thought felt really mature. There is comedy in this movie, but I felt like there was less comedy than the first two. I think kids are still gonna get a big kick out of this movie, but at the same time, I feel like this movie was made for the people who were kids when the first How to Train Your Dragon movie came out, because this movie is a lot about friendship as well as moving on and letting go of things. Everybody on the island of Berk is in the process of moving on. They're all trying to find this new hidden world. Not a lot of them want to do that. It's just the stage that they're at in life. The whole voice cast in the movie is also still solid. Jay Baruchel, this is honestly his signature role for me. Jonah Hill, McLovin, America Ferrera, Kristen Wiig, they're all great. The guy twin in this movie though, they recast him, which totally justifiably so, but the weird part about that is they gave him a fairly significant role in this movie, which he hasn't really had in any movies past. So as the movie goes on, you start to notice that his voice isn't quite the same as it was in the last few movies. I mean, it's fine. I just don't really understand why he was given such a big role. I think they should have given that role to Jonah Hill's character. As far as animated movies go, the How to Train Your Dragon movies have always had sweet cinematography. This movie's no exception. I think the action in this movie is great. I will say though, I don't think this movie is quite as action-packed as the second movie. I feel like the climax in the second movie was bigger than the climax in this movie. But I also feel like it fits the story really well. This movie, it reminded me a lot, in fact this whole trilogy kind of reminds me of the Planet of the Apes trilogy that we just got. The first movie at its core was all about Caesar and James Franco. The first How to Train Your Dragon movie was all about Toothless and Hiccup. In both trilogies, I think the second out of the three is probably the most action-packed one. And the third movie plays a little more on the dramatic side. So this one, it's a lot like War of the Planet of the Apes. Partly because they are looking to relocate, but also this is just a heavier movie than the last few How to Train Your Dragon movies. So the climax of it, given all that information, I thought worked really well for the story that they were telling. Overall, I loved How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. When this comes out, I'll probably marathon all three movies. It's sad that this is probably the last one because, I mean, again, this has been a series 9 years in the making. To see a complete story that just has a solid beginning, a solid middle, and a solid end that you're invested in the entire time, it's a little rare these days in Hollywood. So How to Train Your Dragon accomplished that. It was a great movie, a great send-off to Hiccup and Toothless. Their story will live on my Blu-ray shelf. So How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Have you seen it? Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.